Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and now you are all having a great day. To start things off, the market is down, as you may have noticed last night, or maybe you're just waking up and you're looking at it and going, why is the market down? There seems to be no reason at all, unless something comes up within the next 2 or 3 hours, or maybe 4 hours, who knows, that explains exactly why the market is down. There seems to be no reason at all. I have looked around for the last 45 minutes, not even counting the news that I had from a couple of hours ago, and it appears nothing has happened. Not one little thing. Maybe we hit a snag, maybe someone got scared, maybe there was just a huge sell-off from someone who decided to cash out 30 million because he needed to buy a new yacht. No one knows exactly what's going on. What's interesting to note is that you can already see this little dip right here starting to curve back up. So possibly by the time you are listening to this, by the time you are waking up, depending on where you are in the world, the market may already be slowly moving its way back up. But the dip, as far as this was actually, I think, around 8 or 9% down over the last 24 hours. Makes no sense at all. There was nothing significant from any government, from no governing office or body or corporation that announced anything negative. And on the contrary, actually, everything that we have is actually very good news, more or less, today. What's interesting is that before I went to bed last night, people always ask, do I sleep? Yes, I do. I try my darndest. XRP was actually up by 4%, and that's when everything started crashing down. It was very odd. I woke up, I expected the numbers to kind of remain the same, but they had actually gone down a tiny bit more. So this is kind of where the market is right now. In case you were wondering, like I said, unless I find something else more significant that explains exactly why the market is down, as of now, there seems to be no reason at all. We've had moments like this before, especially at the beginning of the year, where people were simply just selling and then the market was also going down. So maybe someone with very heavy hands hit the red button, and this is why the market is down, at least for right now. So Litecoin is in the news. It has been announced via the Twitter page of HTC Exodus that Charlie Lee, who is the founder of Litecoin, the blockchain network, will be part of the project as an advisor. They wrote that on their Twitter. Not going to read through it. If everything goes to plan, the first native blockchain phone will make its debut in Q3 of this year. In contrast to the many existing centralized cloud systems, every device will be a node. This way, each user will own their identity and information. That's kind of nice. The founder of Litecoin, Charlie Lee, recently revealed that one of the biggest smartphone manufacturers in the world, HTC, is going to include support for Litecoin and the Lightning Network on Litecoin natively, which is quite interesting, because what happens with Litecoin is that Litecoin is pretty much the test network for Bitcoin. This is part of the argument why Litecoin should be a lot higher in value, simply because everything, or 90% of things that end up getting added onto Bitcoin, are tested on Litecoin first. It's kind of like the monkey or the guinea pig. I don't know exactly what you want to call it. So it's because of this and the fact that everything ends up working on Litecoin and then gets shifted over to Bitcoin, kind of is the reason why a lot of people say that Litecoin should be at least 1/4 of the price of Bitcoin, because everything that works on Bitcoin can be pushed over to Litecoin. So it appears that on this phone, not only will they be accepting or have support for Litecoin, but the Lightning Network on top of Litecoin. I think I said that correctly. I don't remember the words I said. This will be put on top of this, it appears, on the phone. And now Mr. Lee did let his followers know that he took part in developing the Exodus last week. Each phone bought will have an addition as a cold storage or a wallet for digital currencies. He said, and I do quote, "Met the HTC Exodus team last week and was really excited to hear the phone will support LTC and the Lightning Network on Litecoin natively. I will be an advisor, and I see having a secure crypto phone that makes Lightning Network simple is needed for mass adoption. P.S. They will not remove BTC," end quote. In May this year, HTC said that they are working on the world's first blockchain-powered smartphone. It was going to have features dedicated to decentralized applications and security. In the beginning of the plan, Phil Chen, who is the chief crypto officer, noted that the HTC Exodus will only support the two leaders by market cap, Ethereum and Bitcoin. They said, and I quote, "Though the Exodus, we are also excited to be supporting underlying protocols such as Bitcoin, Lightning Network, Ethereum, Dfinity, and more." Chen was quoted as saying, "We would like to support the entire blockchain ecosystem, and in the next few months, we'll be announcing many more exciting partnerships together." Together, we want to craft the best blockchain and decentralized application experiences to end customers, end quote. However, later on down the road, Charlie Lee was quoted as revealing that the LTC and Lightning Network support, it kind of just goes back into a loop, exactly what they were talking about at the beginning of the article. This is going to be very cool. I told you guys before when we first learned about this in May, and we thought that it was just going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum, that if this phone is like 1,200 euros, there's not a chance I'm buying it. Even if it's like 800, that would be like a huge stretch. The fact that it's going to act as a node, I think is actually kind of cool. And I'm hoping, or I'm optimistic that as time goes on that we'll get more phones like this and they'll probably become a lot cheaper. I'm not expecting the HTC Exodus or anything that has hype around blockchain and or crypto for when it first comes out to be anything less than like $699. That is a stretch for most smartphones. You can get a lot out of a smartphone that's like $249 now. That's what I have. Works perfectly fine. The point is, I'm excited for other projects to kind of come out like this because I do like the. You guys know exactly how I feel about the whole Bitcoin Bitmain situation, and as far as centralization and stuff like that when it comes to the nodes. So I definitely like the idea of it. Charlie Lee seems to be spreading his wings, if you will. If you go read his Twitter, people have been stepping on his neck for a little bit, and he's actually lashing out. There are professional ways of doing things. I don't claim to be professional at all, so don't ever expect that from me. But he's been, you can tell that he's a little upset that people are upset with him about him selling his Litecoin, especially when it was near an all-time high. He says it wasn't at the all-time high. He said he quoted prices on it and stuff like that. But we have news of this phone and also of him acquiring stake in a bank. And I think he also says he has something else brewing. So it seems he's trying to come back stronger than ever because a lot of people weren't too happy that the creator of one of the largest coins in the cryptocurrency space seemingly abandoned his coin, but this is kind of where we are right now. So let's see exactly. I assume this is going to actually launch. Litecoin had about 2 or 3 projects that they were trying to launch at the beginning of this year. None of them ended up going through. One of them was the debit or credit card thing that they tried to get going, but I assume that HTC probably won't default on their coin that is coming out. I think we're actually in Q3. Q3 ends October 1st. It is now August 1st. So this should be happening relatively soon. But this also, once again, aligns with that September timeframe where everybody's talking about that things are going to go completely insane in the month of September. Next up, Northern Trust Corporation, a leading global asset management firm with $954 billion in total assets under management, is planning to start a custody service for digital assets. This was reported by Bloomberg a day or two ago. That was yesterday. The company's head of corporate and institutional business, Pete Cherchowich, told Bloomberg that the company has started developing a strategy to secure custody-held digital assets such as cryptocurrencies. He said the firm aims to offer a product similar to existing custodial services while charging lower fees. He said, the fees right now the custodians are charging are pretty high, not the same fees that we get. Ultimately, I believe unsustainable because it needs to be an efficient model, end quote. Chicago-based Northern Trust Corporation currently provides accounting services to several funds that invest part of their assets in crypto futures. The firm will not launch a custody product for digital assets for at least 12 months, according to Cherchowich. This spring, Northern Trust launched a blockchain-powered product in partnership with Big Four auditing giant PwC, which provides audit firms with instant access to secure golden copy of private equity life cycle events. Okay, why not? This will reportedly improve the efficiency of the auditing process by making underlying transactions more transparent to audit firms. This is yet another major corporation. They actually are a corporation. That's actually okay. Anyway, that is going to be launching their own crypto custody place. I don't think they're going to be launching an exchange. I wonder how many of these will actually make it by 2020. This is about the 35th one that we've had news about over the last couple of months that, they're significant as they are well known, and they already have a billions of dollars worth of assets. So they're trying to make sure that they reel in people with information like this, telling the people, we already have tons of money, we can hold even more of your money. But the fact that there are just so many of them, I don't know if a lot of them will be able to make it, simply because there's just a lot of them. I mean, I don't have billions of dollars, so I don't really know how many normal custody services one company needs, or one actually needs, in order to be able to hold their money. But I think this is going to be a very big thing as we continue to go forward. I was reading more articles about crypto going into the trillions by the time we hit 2024, and just how many custody solutions that we could potentially have, or that are going to be needed. Because even like the Winklevoss twins, they have said many times before, we know that they own a large amount of Bitcoin, but they actually have it split between, like, I think 30 or 40 different custody solutions and banks all around the world. Going to be quite interesting. Just a little side note, if we do eventually get to a point where the market is in the trillions, and one of the craziest price predictions that we've seen is, should one Bitcoin actually be worth $100 million? Like I said, it's a crazy number. Just imagine how many Bitcoin that they have. And even if you only had 10 Bitcoin, you would probably have to split that up into 0.1 Bitcoin and have that in multiple banks around the world. Sorry, I watch too many sci-fi movies, but I think stuff like that is kind of cool. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. OmiseGo and Ethereum are in the news today. Jun Hasegawa, who is the founder and CEO at OmiseGo, a billion-dollar blockchain network launched on top of Ethereum protocol, has outlined the future of Ethereum and the roadmap of its growth over the next 2 years. 2017 was a year of speculation for both Ethereum and projects launched on top of the public blockchain protocol. The high level of speculation in the industry was apparent in the rapid surge in the price of Bitcoin, Ether, and every other major digital asset. Subsequent to the major rally of crypto assets in late 2017, the third largest correction in the cryptocurrency market hit, leading Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Ripple, and other cryptocurrencies to lose 70 to 90% of their value. Hasegawa noted that the correction, which is still ongoing, has allowed the market and developers within it to build products and scaling solutions to support the next rally. Don't know why there's a photo of Vitalik right there. In November 2017, I guess that makes sense, Ethereum co-creator Vitalik Buterin, who also advised OmiseGo since last year, said that the $500 billion market cap of cryptocurrencies cannot be justified without demonstrating huge impact on the traditional finance sector and the full potential of blockchain technology. I'm not going to read what he said. You can kind of get it from what he said right here. He's been kind of interesting the last couple of weeks. He even said like 2 weeks ago that Ethereum was overvalued. Which is not a good thing to say about something that you've created. I think he has gotten a bit cocky. When Ethereum first started, like just got started, a lot of people actually didn't buy into their ICO. And what ended up happening is that for a long time, I think the price of Ethereum had trouble even getting past $6 or $7. And he had a press conference or something like that, wherever they had it, one of those crypto meetings. And he said that he was thinking that the Ethereum project would actually have to stop simply because of, the price wasn't going up. Money was kind of tight. So I think he's gotten used to this higher price of Ethereum, which has made him a billionaire multiple times over. And now he is kind of forgetting that there was one point where Ethereum was almost going to die and people actually injected cash into the project. And I think the price went up to like $15 and there was, euphoric state of everything, and that was kind of going on. Since he talked about, is this price justified? The cryptocurrency community has made significant progress in scaling blockchain technology and improving the applicability of cryptocurrencies. Hasegawa said 2018 has been a year of ecosystem building with progress made in the development of sharding, Casper, Plasma, and interchain protocols, which are crucial technologies that are necessary to achieve hundreds of thousands of transactions to 1 million transactions per second on a public blockchain network. Kind of touching on this, I think what may have actually, so you may have noticed, we have had a lot of information and talk from governments where they talked about that they planned on banning it. They talked about restricting it. They talked about not allowing it within their countries. And then we also had a lot of talk from people saying that we were in a bear market. You kind of, when you speak, I don't know if you believe in speaking something into existence, but it kind of comes down to if you hear the same exact news over and over, your brain will eventually begin to believe it. This is why the last couple of weeks you've seen we've had these market makers, if you want to call them that, the really big, the big guys talking about that crypto was on its way back up. Crypto is going to be really good, but we have about 4 weeks of news about this, and now you can tell that the market sentiment has kind of also changed. What was said also a couple of weeks ago is that a lot of the crypto projects weren't even upset that the prices were going down. They said because there was so much hype around all the prices that they felt like they didn't have enough time to actually create anything on the projects because everyone was just concerned with the price. I told you when Vitalik was going to meetings and stuff like that, people were asking him how to buy plasma and how to buy all these other things when they were actually just upgrades. They asked him how to buy Casper tokens. So a lot of the people who are creating these projects or who are trying to build further on top of them said that they found it to be an actual relief that the prices actually went down because it gave them more time to focus on the projects as opposed to the prices, because this is kind of one of the reasons as well that we had so many issues with Kraken, with Coinbase, with Poloniex and all these other places, because there was such a huge surge to get into the market that no one could sustain it. It was just this mad rush for money, and everyone thought that crypto was already in the year 2025 when it was actually still at the end of 2016 trying to get itself together. Hasegawa further emphasized that in the next 2 years, throughout 2019 and 2020, Ethereum will see real business adoption, more large-scale decentralized application, massive scaling and adoption by governments, all based on the development of scaling technologies in 2018. Keep that in mind. We know about dApps, got it. We know about massive scaling. We've had Vitalik talk about with these applications built on top of each other, Ethereum could possibly get to 100 million transactions per second. But the fact that he said out loud adoption by the government, and we know that Russia is or had been in talks with Vitalik to kind of integrate or rather build their coin on top of Ethereum. One of the main arguments for Ethereum right now that I've constantly seen, and when you watch people on CNBC or NBC, wherever you get your news from, is they have all mentioned or whispered kind of that Ethereum is going to be major because Ethereum is going to be its own internet. And the entire point of Ethereum is to be not just a payment system, kind of like OmiseGo has its own little, quirky thing on the side. The point of Ethereum was to be able to build an entire internet on top of it. And now the discussion is constantly floating around that we're going to be able to have governments adopt it and also build their own coins on top of it. This is one of the reasons why, like I always say, I can't, whatever. I think Ethereum is going to be major, and I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to it and have been calling it trash and that EOS is better. I don't think there's going to be, we will not live in a world where there's just one winner. I don't think it's going to happen. Even if Ethereum ends up getting knocked to the 5th place, I think it's going to be incredibly significant because of how much buzz it has around it. If we get to a point where governments are building their own tokens and coins on top of Ethereum and are using the blockchain to do whatever, Ethereum could, it's just such a, the future is so bright for the crypto ecosystem, and this is why I always get not sad, but I try to get people to not pay attention to the prices. You may realize that there are a lot of days where I don't just focus on the prices anymore. I used to always tell you guys the prices, and I completely try to sway away from that because you have to understand what's going on. This isn't just a cash grab anymore. This is now world governments and world banks and central banks talking about using this 3, 4, 5-year-old technology. None of this is old. None of this technology is 25, 30 years old. This is all stuff that we've maybe had since around 9 years ago with Bitcoin. Ethereum and XRP and EOS are anywhere from 1 to 3.5, 4 years old. And the fact that we have all this talk, think of how major this is going to be in around 10 years when we are using systems where we are using digital banks or crypto blockchain based banks, and we think back to these moments right now. It's really something to kind of try to wrap your head around. Anyway, going forward, the guy Hasegawa said 2017 was about speculation and ICOs. 2018 was about POC, ecosystem build, I guess it's build, scaling solutions, Plasma, OmiseGo, L1, sharding, and Casper interchain protocols. He said 2019 will be about real business adoption, UI, UX focused tools, more dApps. And 2019 into 2020 will be Ethereum massively scaling, used by governments. We will see huge difference between real adoptable protocol and toxic speculation projects. Stands out to me here is that we're still in 2018, in case you didn't notice. He still has Plasma, sharding, and Casper in the 2018 timeframe. And I think we were told that sharding and Casper may take a bit more time. It's still believed, or on OmiseGo's, what's it called? Not framework, not their white paper, their timeline type thing where they talk about what's coming out in this specific quarter, is that Plasma is still supposed to be coming out sometime in this quarter. The OmiseGo team has been extremely quiet when it comes to that. I guess they're diligently at work typing away on the computer. If we get Plasma sometime this year, it's going to be a race to the finish for the cryptocurrency market between the hype beasts telling people that Bitcoin is going to be the number one coin, Ethereum and OmiseGo having Plasma, which will allow them to hit anywhere from 50,000 to 500,000 transactions per second. And also the entire Ripple XRP thing with them being adopted by banks and all this other stuff, and the EOS team talking about it. I want it to happen so bad. I would love to wake up to certain days where the market is up like 35% and the coins have completely shifted in the market. Like I don't know. I think I want to see kind of like a Game of Thrones type thing, but digital, and we can't really see the battles, but it's just more like numbers and stuff like that. On top of that as well is the 2019 to 2020 timeframe. I still think, like I told you guys, I'm not holding my breath anymore. I think 2018 is just a building year. I think prices may have been, this is what I think, may have been suppressed intentionally, not by even, it could have even been by the people who were in the cryptocurrency projects, who were in cahoots with other people who were in the bank. No one knows, but I think this is why we had such a negative beginning of the year. I think everything got a bit too hot. There was another article that I don't have in this video where this guy was talking about the fact that the crypto market, or that Bitcoin, went from 10,000 to 20,000 over the course of like a 11-day period was a huge red flag. So I've taken 2018 as just like this building time. We have all together through these videos and through these articles got to learn a lot more about what we have our money in, what they're trying to build on top of it. And, nothing has been just based on price. If the entire year so far had been just prices going up and prices going down, we would have had an extremely difficult time because it would have just been full of emotion. The idea that the market has been going down has kind of, I don't think people don't care anymore, but it's not a major thing when it comes to things. In the cryptocurrency space, a lot of people are more concerned now with the projects and what's being built on top of them, and I think this is a very good thing. But we've had this time frame from 2019 to 2020, which is the time where Bitcoin's reward gets cut in half, where major banks are supposed to be using XRP like officially, where EOS is supposed to potentially or maybe have thousands of apps built on top of it, and where apparently governments are going to be using Ethereum. 2020 could be the time, like we have the, not to spend too long on this topic. I'm sorry that I'm rambling on, but it comes down to the, what's it called? Bitcoin hitting 500,000 to 1 million. I've heard through the crypto grapevine that logically, if Ethereum has all these other things built on top of it, if governments are using it, if we have a scaling solution that is allowing Ethereum to potentially hit millions of transactions per second, and you look at Bitcoin has a circulating supply of around 17 million, max supply of 21 million. I think Ethereum has 100 million. That's around a 5-6 time difference, depending on if you're trying to round up or down. That Ethereum should, in theory, be around 1/5, 1/6 of the price of Bitcoin. If we have a Bitcoin price of $500,000, this should then lead us to a future where we have an Ethereum price of anywhere from 50,000 to 100,000 per coin. And it kind of logically makes sense, not even just based off of numbers, but simply based off of you being able to do millions of transactions per second. You have governments building stuff on top of you, and you have thousands of apps and all these other things. It's kind of, it's very exciting. I'm not going to read about the crash thing is not too super important. Anyway, that is the Ethereum OmiseGo news for today. I am incredibly excited for the future. Next up, SBI is once again in the news. Prices may already have started shooting back up. I don't want to click on CoinMarketCap because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm afraid that these numbers are false. SBI Holdings is making yet another significant foray into the cryptocurrency market. One of its units has set the ball rolling towards the emergence of a cryptocurrency derivatives trading market. If successful, this move will be welcome development for virtual currency enthusiasts who yearn for greater liquidity and diverse trading options. SBI Crypto Investments, a subsidiary of SBI Holdings, yesterday, 2 days ago, purchased a 12% stake in Clear Markets, an electronic trading company. Though details of the deal haven't been published at the time, the deal is reportedly worth around $9 million or 1 billion yen. Clear Markets, based in Charlotte, North Carolina in the United States, deals in developing and operating electronic marketplaces as well as trading technologies. By investing in the company, SBI Crypto is hoping to create a derivatives trading platform which should attract institutional investors into the market. Keep in mind, SBI is based in Japan, and the fact that they have or are setting themselves up in the United States is something to keep in mind. There's no denying the fact that virtual currencies are among the most exciting asset classes in the current market. However, their volatility serves as a significant deterrent amongst widespread adoption. In June and July 2018, Bitcoin declined 30% and gained another 30%, okay? With ubiquitous wild price swings in the market, the creation of a crypto-based derivatives market seems to be a given. However, given such a trending area remains mostly undeveloped, leaving not enough avenues for big money investors to hedge their risk. However, SBI, in tandem with Clearwater, might be able to create a platform that allows family offices, hedge funds, and other big investors to trade virtual currency instruments comfortably. The Tokyo-based financial services company is making significant investments in the cryptocurrency space with stakes in Bitflyer and Coolbit. The former is a prominent cryptocurrency exchange platform, while the latter is a wallet developer. Apart from a stake in Bitfly, SBI also owns a cryptocurrency exchange platform known as SBI Virtual Currencies. What's significant about all of this is that SBI more or less is a bank. They deal heavily in any type of thing that has to do with money, and the fact that they have gotten into cryptocurrencies, the fact that they are now trying to make or stake their claim in the US is also very significant. I don't know if it's easier to get into North Carolina than it is to other states, but the fact is SBI is heavily in the news, and I think they're going to continue to be. But I think being one of the largest banks in the world, and also not even dipping your toes into the cryptocurrency space, but being heavily into crypto, is very significant, because I think this will help pave the way for other banks who know what SBI is. You know, when you come out as one of the largest banks in the entire world, especially in Japan, and you start talking about that you are trading crypto, you are doing this in crypto, you are interested in crypto, you're making money from crypto, the moment we get to let's say quarter two of 2019, and they're releasing their reports for how much money they made, and if they make anywhere over, let's say, $100 billion just from profits of cryptocurrencies, we're going to see an avalanche like we have never seen before in the cryptocurrency market, because everyone is going to be like, well, they can do it. We can certainly do it as well, because we're more well-known, or we have a better name, or my family's better than yours, whatever rich people say to other rich people. I don't know. Next up is information about Bitcoin Cash. It says, happy birthday, Bitcoin Cash. Tuesday marks the 1-year anniversary of the first block on the crypto protocol that split from the Bitcoin network. Now the fourth largest by total value, after a years-long disagreement about the course of cryptocurrency should take, that is, Bitcoin should take. For supporters, the main goal for the competing protocol was increasing the block size to allow more transactions, and in turn, more users, all in an effort to make cryptocurrency competitive with more traditional payment rails. But whether or not the plan would work was very unclear, if not highly criticized. Yet over the course of the last few months, around the same time, developers raised its block size parameter from 8 MB to 32 MB. Bitcoin's limit is 1 MB. This is the main argument for those who did not know why we have a Bitcoin Cash, is that the people who are controlling Bitcoin, Blockstream, refuse to increase Bitcoin's block limit. And it was argued, or still is, well, it's known that Bitcoin can actually go from 1 MB to around 2 to 4 MB quite comfortably with no real issues. Bitcoin Cash was created because they said they wanted to have larger block sizes to push transactions through quicker, to have quicker transaction times, and to make it easier for everyday use. And this is kind of why we also have getting or whatever in the next couple of years the Lightning Network, is because Blockstream doesn't want to increase the limit, and instead they think that Lightning Network is a better solution. Bitcoin Cash has seen an influx of new projects, including social media and tipping methods, taking advantage of its blockchain. And since many of Bitcoin's most active developers were adamantly against the tweaks Bitcoin Cash stood for, the developers behind the alternative protocol sees these apps as proof their offerings is competitive. Looking through the applications that have sprung up, it is clear that those drawn to Bitcoin Cash are trying to carve out a unique role for the cryptocurrency, one that aligns with the initial value proposition touted. Many of the applications targets users for cheaper, faster payments like BlockPress, a social media platform, and CentB, a wallet that uniquely integrates a user's phone list. But there's also some work being done to make Bitcoin Cash a more complex blockchain, able to handle smart contracts and token launches. Not going to really go through all of it. It's not super significant. The point is one, I didn't realize that a whole year had gone by already since we were talking about the hard fork of Bitcoin. This was 2017, this was the major news. You know, the market going up this year, this was the entire focus last year, was the fact that you were able to hard fork Bitcoin and create a new Bitcoin from it was completely major news, even though we had Litecoin, which is a Bitcoin fork, and Bitcoin Dark, which is now named Dash. Were completely out of people's minds, the fact that this was all going to happen, and the fact that another coin was going to have the Bitcoin name shook the market to its core. A lot of people were kind of annoyed or angry that this was going to happen. They thought that the value of Bitcoin itself, the number one coin, would have, would be devalued simply because you were able to give birth to another digital coin over the same exact amount of time. I was wondering why over the last week, Mr. Roger Ver had been in the news so much, and I guess it's simply because there was actually some type of meeting or event or blockchain forum, something was happening on the other side of the world in some country, and I was wondering why Roger Ver was in the news so much. And it appears, I guess he was trying to not hype up the coin, but be there for its first birthday party, as any parent should be. But yeah, so the debate still rolls on, but I think it's not as significant as it was before. I think a lot of people have kind of I know they're Bitcoin like heavy maximalists probably still care, but most people don't really. I think Bitcoin Cash is kind of just another coin that's sitting around there. I think a lot of the things that are going on are mainly between people who care about Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. But now we're talking about a world where Bitcoin Cash is trying to grow. Remember, I said this a couple of months ago. I said the only way to remain relevant in the cryptocurrency space right now is to have smart contracts being able to be built on top of your platform, because smart contracts are going to be very big as we go into the future when it comes to people using your platform and they're trying to buy houses, they're trying to buy diamonds, they're trying to buy anything, to be able to say that you paid and the other person paid and you get the asset, you need smart contracts. And also to be able to, your blockchain is more valuable when you are able to build other projects on top of it. This is why EOS and Ethereum have been gaining so much attention, even if the price has been going down. Any other coin that you are able to build on top of another coin is like the end all to your project. That is the major thing that we have right now. I have a feeling in 2019 it'll be something else. They'll have figured out another way to make these blockchains more valuable. But at least right now, this is where we are in the cryptocurrency space. So this is why Bitcoin Cash is in the news. I guess happy birthday. Like I said, it's not really that significant to a lot of people anymore. But it's really weird that we've gone by a year so far in the cryptocurrency space. I'm going to do this for the heck of it. I want to see if prices are actually going back up since the couple of minutes. Oh, okay. There we go. So that's happening, which is weird. This is exactly the price that it was last night. It was up by 4%. And then for some reason, Bitcoin started tumbling down. I don't know if it was coordinated or what, but I think if you guys saw my last video or the one before that about what's happening with XRP, I think people are starting to take notice because there is now going to be a crypto exchange in California that is going to be listing XRP. I think there's a huge amount of energy buzzing around this. Let's hope by the time that you see this video, that you can also go to CoinMarketCap and refresh the page, and hopefully prices are back up. Yeah, that's definitely gonna do it for this video. There's an enormous amount of news. I had to keep about 4 or 5 of the stories out of this video simply because I am human and I don't have that much energy in me. Hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon, and or evening whenever you may be listening to and or watching this video. Thank you once again for all the support. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.